Here we go.
What's good, people? I hear you want to get into collecting, I guess, high-end Dragon Ball action figures. Well, you've come to the right place. First thing first, I'm going to lay 2 ground rules of things that you should know. First of all, there should be an image on the screen of basically the packaging, but specifically what we're looking at is the stickers that make them official, authentic products from, you know, the actual Tamashii nations. You get what I'm saying? And then the second thing is I'm going to lay down what a general release is. A general release is basically a product that you could get at retail. If you go on some of the, like if you go on the Tamashii Nation's website whenever there's a new release and you do the read up where they tell you how much it costs in yen and things of that nature, a general release, the way you know it's a general release, it'll say retail product. If it doesn't say retail product, it'll say something like web shop exclusive. We'll cover that, which is basically premium Bandai, but we'll cover that in the sequel video to this, because this, if I covered it all in one video, it'd be too long. So what we have first is Super Saiyan God Goku. Now, it's 2 different versions. You have this older version right here on the left, and this is the S.H.Figuarts Super Saiyan God Goku, God instilled with the light of righteous hearts. Try to say that 3 times fast. Crazy. I would like to be at the table when they come up with these names. Either way, that is the old version, and that's gonna run you about $34.99. And yes, a lot of general releases tend to be in that $30 price range. It can definitely vary, which we'll see later on in the video, but let's continue. Now, this newer version of Super Saiyan God Goku, which looks like it's stripped straight out of the anime, this is the Dragon Ball Super S.H.Figuarts Super Saiyan God Goku God Aura. Mad simple. You would think that the names would be swapped considering, you know, how much better one looks than the other. But what I want to say about this is that don't get the old version, get the new version. The new version is up for pre-order right now on Big Bad Toy Store, and you'll hear me reference that store a lot in this particular video. Now, when does it come out? My bad. Well, the Western drop date is July of this year, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Basically, you just wait until summertime. But let's move forward on to some more Gokus. Okay, so this one I don't even got to look at the titles for, because I'm actually, I use this phone to record, and then I use my actual phone that I use every day to read the titles. But either way, this is the one with the white background, Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. The middle Goku is the newest base Goku, which I'm going to recommend that you get. I'm always going to recommend the new hotness unless it's just that bad. But that is, what is he called? Virtuous Saiyan Goku. And then, of course, Dragon Ball Super Superhero Goku at the very end. Now, which one should you get? Well, the two Gokus on the 2 ends are, once again, not the most updated Gokus. However, they are available right now, and the same could go for that older Super Saiyan God Goku with the super long name title. That is available right now for you to buy, and that's mainly what I'm trying to focus on in this video, focusing on stuff that you could buy or pre-order right now at the original price. I will briefly reference or skim over some other things, especially in the sequel video to this, in terms of older releases that a lot of people might be interested in. But I'm really trying to keep it to what you could get right now, or what you might come across, you know, in passing. Now, here we have, this is a very easy recommendation right here. First of all, Full Power Super Saiyan Goku. Do not get that one. That one is directly inferior to the middle Goku, which is the Games Begin Goku. And next to the Games Begin Goku, we got, of course, Goku from the Namek Saga. That is also a great figure. Very fun figure to pose around. So, you know, the Games Begin Goku, which is the middle Goku, and the Namek Goku, definitely, I recommend both of those figures. That side Goku was, don't even bother with it. Trust me, don't bother with it. Now, as for the price points, the Full Power Super Saiyan Goku, which is the one I'm recommending for you to not get, $34.99 standard. Games Begin Goku's like $37.99 or $38. Now the Namek Goku, even though he is a general release, this is where one of the deviations that you'll see. He is $67.99. At least that was his initial price release. He might be a little bit more expensive, and that's, you know, what I tried to stray away from in this video, but I know Goku's a very popular character, and somebody might see that Goku and be like, wait, you know, I watched this video recently, that wasn't in it. But, you know, you may have to pay a little bit more. And of course, all these prices are before taxes and things of that nature. But let's move right along. Now, here we get into some funky territory. We have Daima Mini Goku, we have GT Kid Goku, and then we have Daima Adult Goku. And for both Daima Gokus, they're cheaper than the middle Goku, which is a small figure. And to be fair, Mini Goku's a small figure, and he's the same size, same price as the Daima Adult Goku. So, you know, the two on the sides, $34.99, and then in the middle, the GT Kid Goku, I think the actual retail price is like $54. But if you could get them for cheaper, like on Big Bad Toy Store, I saw it not much cheaper, but cheaper. It was like $48. And yeah, you could pick your poison. I think all of these you could easily skip, not because they're necessarily bad figures, but I can see people not necessarily being interested in them. But if you are, like, these are all ready to buy right now, you know. And here we have two Super Saiyan Blue Gokus. One is supposed to be Super Saiyan Blue Goku from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, and the other is one that's not out yet, but it is up for pre-order. What is the name of, let me get the actual proper titles. I don't know why my voice turned into a bad British accent. I do know, I was trying to be funny and it wasn't funny. But Dragon Ball Super Broly, okay, that's the name of that Goku. Matter of fact, I just have the names pop up on the screen, but as I said that, I clicked on the one that's up for pre-order, the brand new hotness. It doesn't take, like, you could just look at the pictures and see which one you should get. Definitely get the darker orange one, which is, you know, the Dragon Ball Super S.H.Figuarts Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, Blue Power Transcending Limits. These titles, man. These titles, crazy. But yeah, definitely get that for it's $37.99, and Dragon Ball Super Broly Goku is $34.99. You should never be paying any more than that if you want that particular version of Super Saiyan Blue Goku. But let's move right along. Now for this slide we have a myriad of different Gokus. Okay, so first thing first, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is like $61.99, aka $62. The Super Saiyan 4 Goku has not been, this is a general release, but it hasn't been released in a while. So when that happens, as you could imagine, the price creeps up. But the original retail price, I'm showing this to you just in case you're like, nah, I want to get that. And I just want you to know the base price so you could see how much more money you would want to spend in regards to the figure. But Super Saiyan 4 Goku was like $65, $66. This Goku Black, which I feel like we've seen a million of this Goku Black released, $34.99. And then the Ultra Instinct Goku, or at least this particular version of Ultra Instinct Goku, because if you've, after this video, you can see I have the most recent review I have is of the Toyotaro Ultra Instinct Goku, which uses the same body, but it is a special edition release. We'll cover that in the sequel video. But this Ultra Instinct Goku, $62. So just use that as a point of reference so you can basically know how much more money you'd rather spend. Like, I usually try not to go more than $30 more. If I could, you know, buy something on the secondary market, I'd rather it be like no more than $30 more than the original retail. And that's pushing it, you know. But that also depends on how much I like the character. Is that the last for Goku? I believe that is. Let's move right along. Vegeta. So now we move on to Vegeta, and the rest of this video should be a cinch because Goku is the only one that has so many different releases for him. He has the most releases up the line, and it's not even really close. But we have Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Both of these are available as we speak. The one that's available at retail is the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, which is on an older mold, and I suspect that Much like we seen in the Goku section where, you know, we had 2 Super Saiyan Gods and we had 2 Super Saiyan Blue Gokus. I think this blue Vegeta is going to end up getting an upgraded figure, so you could wait for that, but there's no confirmation on when that would happen, right? I would say relatively soon, but that's just my speculation. Either way, for the Vegeta, the retail price was like 66, so once again, keep that in mind if you're going to buy it on the secondary market, which you pretty much have to at this point, because I think in most stores it's sold out, or most online stores rather. That being said, let's move forward. Now we have 2 Super Saiyan Vegetas, and also one of the inspirations for this video, because I remember seeing a thread on Reddit asking what the difference between the 2 Vegetas is, and basically the one where he has his thumb pointing at him, I'll have, like, once again, I'll have the names of these figures pop up on the screen. That is the older Vegeta. The new Vegeta, the new hotness, is the other Vegeta with his arms crossed, and definitely go for the new hotness. I'm always going to recommend the new hotness. However, people have their preferences. Like the older Vegeta, somebody said that they like the hair on that one better than the new one, and you know, to each their own, right? I'm thinking they like the more fluffy kind of look, but even then it's not done as well as I know Tamashii could do it now, and probably as they could have did it back then. But you know, they need to save certain details and whatnot for a newer release, so you could be like, hey, you know, this is the new and improved shit. Either way, retail for the older Vegeta is $34.99. The newer Vegeta, which is up for pre-order, $37.99. I think that Vegeta comes out, and I'll have it pop up on the screen. All that information will be on the screen as I talk. And the last of the Vegetas, and I had to remake this particular collage only like twice because I kept on forgetting the superhero Vegeta. Not really fond of that figure, but Dragon Ball Superhero Vegeta on Premium Bandai, they have him listed at 38. I swear he was cheaper than that at one point, like 34, but not a biggest of deals. And of course, the 2 Super Daima Vegetas, the Mini Vegeta and of course Adult Vegeta. Definitely the Daima Adult Vegeta I recommend. The Mini, hey, you use your discretion. Do you want a bunch of minifigures? Up to you. But yeah, $34.99 for both of the Daima Vegetas, and that pretty much does it for Vegeta. Everybody else, even after this, is going to be much quicker. So now we have a fan favorite in Future Trunks, and we have Super Saiyan Future Trunks, Boy from the Future, the one with the jacket. This particular release originally was $67.99 or something like that, but they have recently increased the price of this. I thought it was like a secondary market thing, but it's not. They just increased the retail price, which is $79.99. So this figure is a good figure, but it's just so many Trunks options, particularly with third party, but that's a whole separate video in of itself. The Saiyan Armor Trunks, $34.99. I suspect they'll do an updated version of this, but once again, that's just my speculation. No word on it just yet, but I wouldn't see why they wouldn't upgrade this Trunks in the armor, just because I just showed y'all with the Vegeta, they definitely upgraded that. So it's, to me, it's like a matter of time type of thing, but both solid choices if you start in your collection. I think most people will be happy with what they get. Now let's move right along.
Gohan!
So much like Trunks, this should be relatively quick for Gohan section, because there's not a whole lot of Gohan stuff that's been released. Well, at least not generally. There are a bunch of special editions things, but we'll get into that maybe in the video, because as I said, I want to keep everything to what you could get right now at relatively close as possible to retail, but because I covered the rest of the superhero stuff in this video, might as well cover the general release superhero stuff at least. We have Ultimate Gohan, which originally retailed at what, $34.99, $37.99, one of those two. And then we have the Cell era Gohan, which is what, $65.99. Definitely both solid choices for a pickup. The Ultimate Gohan is a personal favorite of mine. definitely has a very special place in my heart in terms of figures. But yeah, definitely solid choices. The Ultimate Gohan now I think has shot up to, like, I went on Amazon, he was like $80. I was like, $80? What are you talking about? But you know, that's how it go whenever either, you know, it's been a little while since it's been a re-release, or I feel like this Ultimate Gohan got a re-release like a couple times, but it was like it vanished fast. But either way, let's move forward.
Piccolo!
So here we have the Dragon Ball Daima Piccolos, and for both of these, I don't know why they're as expensive as they are. They don't really have much reason to be, except for, you know, sometimes, something my good man Cyrus pointed out to me is that sometimes they'll do like a literal translation of the price instead of doing the actual what do you call it, currency conversion. They'll, like, for example, if it's like 77,000 yen, they'll make it like 77 USD or something like that. That's what I mean by like a literal conversion. But is that always the case? Not quite. Is it always so one-to-one? But it's usually in a similar ballpark. Adult Daima Piccolo is $74.99. Piccolo Mini is like $54.99 if I'm not mistaken. This is of course all before taxes and whatnot. Moving right along, we have Dragon Ball Superhero Piccolo, and then we have Z Piccolo, or like early Z Piccolo. And okay, Superhero Piccolo is what, like $37.99 up for pre-order, and the Z Piccolo, for whatever reason, once again, one of the figures that had its retail price upped is like $79.99 when they're basically, okay, it's not the same figure. For sure it's not the same figure. There's definitely some retooling done with the Superhero Piccolo, which is the one that came out afterwards, but I don't understand the price disparity. Doesn't make any sense, but I am giving y'all the information so y'all can figure out what y'all want to do with it. That should do it for all the figures that have all these different variants to them. And now we'll just be like a rapid fire round of stuff. So let's move right along. So now we move on to like the rapid fire round of stuff. And first up, we got the Dragon Ball Z S.H.Figuarts Majin Buu, the good version. Now this is in stock. You could get it right now, $85.99. I can't remember what the original price for Fat Buu was. I believe it was at a time where it was like a web exclusive. So this is the first general release for Fat Buu. If you're curious about other Buu Saga content, it's very sparse. They haven't really touched a lot on it. The only couple that I could think of off the top of my head is Majin Vegeta, which is definitely not worth paying that aftermarket price. But we'll talk about that potentially, and the releases that fall into, like, you know, special, like exclusive releases, whether it's on Premium Bandai or store exclusive or a con exclusive. But we'll get into all that, or some other weird exclusive. But we'll get into all of that in the sister video to this, or the sequel video to this. We'll go through the pictures real quick. I know I didn't do this for the other characters, but if I did all of this, you got a brief look at that Majin Vegeta. I don't recommend getting that at this point in time. I would say stay tuned. If you want a Majin Vegeta, stay tuned for my third-party Newbie video. That's going to be coming out. But before we even get there, because a lot of these videos are going to take some planning. Yeah, definitely a solid pickup if you're into Fat Buu. A lot of people, this is not a lot of people's favorite form of Buu, so I don't expect a lot of people to get it. But the other Buu that's available is Super Buu, but that one has yet to, it hasn't had a reissue in a while. It's been reissued in the past, but it hasn't been reissued in a little while. So, you know, be mindful of the price point for that. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the next character. The next character we have here is my good man Krillin. Now, this is supposed to be, or meant to be, like your Android era Krillin. Definitely a fun figure to play with, pose around, take pictures of. Matter of fact, I gotta find mines and pose them. But either way, let's move forward. What we have here is another big green. We have first form Cell. My biggest gripe with this figure, if I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you, is not even the price point. The price point has been that, but it's the fact that this figure is not as tall as I think it should be. And the same thing goes for the Piccolo. The two figures they're taller than, of course, the characters they're supposed to be taller than, but not like how it is in the show, you know? This is a solid figure. It's not bad by any means. But I don't even, matter of fact, I'm not sure that Cell comes with the Rock. Funny enough. But also another thing to note about Cell is that he still has his other forms that need to be made. His perfect form has been made, but that was back when this line first started. So you can imagine that the sculpt and the overall look of the figure looks off. So I don't bother with that, as also probably be mad expensive anyway. So don't bother with that. And second form Cell just straight up has never been made by the company, at least not yet. It's only a matter of time, especially since we're in the thick of the Android stuff. And then of course, well, also we got the Super stuff and the Diamond stuff. But in terms of the Z and Z related stuff, we're in the Android era. But let's move forward. So Frieza is another one of those characters kind of falling into the same realm as Cell. Literally in the same realm as Cell. So here's, well, sorta. So here's what I mean. So this first form Frieza with the pod is, you see the price point. It is definitely more expensive, especially for a smaller figure, but at least you get, you know, the pod or what have you, if you want to justify it that way. This figure I don't personally have, but how could you not have a Dragon Ball collection with a Frieza in it? Now the second and third forms were specifically exclusive to Premium Bandai. We'll go over that in the Premium Bandai video / basically the video with all the exclusives. The second and third form, they have been released, but you were definitely gonna have to pay a pretty penny for it. As far as his fourth form, which is, you know, his most iconic form, that has been released, but before you pull the trigger on that release, which it should be fairly cheap, I should have it somewhere on the screen. I would say just wait, because they definitely have teased that figure, that version of him getting an updated sculpt and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. I'll put a screenshot of the teaser that they showed off. But they teased the updated form for his fourth form. So, and I'm sure after that, and with the event of Super coming back, we'll eventually get a Golden Frieza based on whatever the updated mold is, you know? But let's move forward. So, continuing with the rapid fireness, we have Bulma from Dragon Ball. Definitely I could see somebody, well, this is just, if you're a true Dragon Ball fan and you just didn't go straight to Z, I can see this definitely being a must-have, especially with a Kid Goku, which has that had a general release? I don't think any of the Kid Gokus had a general release. But you seen a picture of that in the photos. But let's move forward. Something that I doubt many people will be super excited for, unless you're the true completionist or if you enjoy Daima a lot. I enjoyed Daima, but not enough to want to buy this. Whenever they get to the Boo era stuff, I'll just get the you know, standard Supreme Kai as an adult. But you know, this is, and the price point, as you can see, is kind of crazy. Not kinda, it is crazy. So you know, be mindful of that. Same thing with Pansy. I could really care less about having this figure in my collection, but for the completionist or the Daima fan, I could see them wanting to get this. Once again, price point definitely not worth it to me, but if you're a big baller, then ball out. Here's something with a little bit more excitement. We have Dragon Ball Super Broly Full Power, and it's a reissue. This was in desperate need of a reissue anyway, so this is perfect for fans just getting in. Estimated to arrive next month, so that's even better. And this is definitely a figure that's just a great figure overall. I have it. Definitely a figure to have in your collection. It's a fun figure. Only thing is that it suffers from the inflated price point. When this first came out, it was like $76.99 or maybe $82, something like that, and now you can see it is $100 basically. or it will be after, you know, shipping and handling and taxes, all of that. Or even if you buy it in a store, you know, or at a comic shop, what have you. But let's move forward. And I think the last of the general release stuff is Glorial. Not the most exciting note to leave off on, but unless I do like a overtime for this, which I'll have to see. But once again, I think definitely overpriced, but broken record. If you're a completionist or a daima fan, I can see you wanting to get this. But I think that'll do it for the general release stuff. This has been Bombastic Plastic. If you're new here, thank you for watching the video, especially if you watched it to the end. That definitely helps your brother out. Stay fantastic. Have a blessed day. You know, overtime for a video like this is kind of crazy, but basically, with this portion of the video, you see it's a bunch of characters laid out. These are all general releases at some point. Now, the one thing that I will say is confusing is that for both of the Jirens, it said that they were web shop exclusives. Now, I was so confused because I was like, I really don't remember these being web shop exclusives. So a detail to remember, and something I forgot until I had to do this portion of the video, is that sometimes something will be an exclusive, like a premium Bandai exclusive in Japan, but like over here it'll be like a general release thing. A good example of this is Ichigo with the dual Zangetsu's pain from Naruto. All of that was premium Bandai exclusives in Japan, but over here it wasn't. So just keep that in mind. And also, everything that you see on the screen right now, none of these were over $70 before taxes with their original retail prices. So keep that in mind if you decide to get these in the secondary marketplace. Now, with that being said, this has been Bombastic Plastic. Peace for real this time, or at least until the next video is uploaded.